All right. I'm going to get right into it and start off the video by saying this. If you want to maximize your returns, if you want to create wealth for yourself and your family in the future, there is no comparison between Bitcoin and the S&P 500. Bitcoin is what you need to purchase. Your satoshis is what you need to purchase. No argument there. I'm not sitting here and telling you that Bitcoin's more stable or less volatile than the S&P 500. I am not telling you that Bitcoin has longer tenure in the marketplace than the S&P 500 because both of those statements are false. But if you want to max out your returns, Bitcoin is where you need to go. And you have to be be able to weather those storms, weather the 20, 30, 40, 50%, decrease. You have to be able to do it. I want to go over this chart that I created just for my own tracking because, as some of you know, on this channel, I track my monthly investments, my contributions and returns into Bitcoin and Nvidia. And Bitcoin is something that I am very, very big on these days, and I'm heavily contributing towards it. I'm going to turn the camera off and let's go ahead and get into this chart here because there's some interesting trends that we can note and also some conclusions that we can come to when it comes to the S&P 500 index and Bitcoin. I'm turning my camera off. So let's go ahead and take a look here. All right. Now, go ahead and take 4 or 5 seconds or pause the video and tell me if you see a pattern, if you see a trend. It doesn't happen every month, but there definitely is one. Go ahead and take a look here. Do you see it? Well, let me point out just a few months in this chart. February 2024, the S&P 500 is in the green, 4.84%. Bitcoin is also in the green, 43.76%. Both are in the green, but Bitcoin is up by multiples of the S&P 500. Let's go down to March. 3% return for the S&P 500, 16.62 for Bitcoin. Both are in the green. Bitcoin is also up by multiples. We can see the same thing there in May. 4%, or round up to 5, 11% for Bitcoin. All right. You also see it in July. It's not in a big multiple, but Bitcoin is up. So is at the S&P 500, but Bitcoin's higher. It doesn't happen every single month. It doesn't happen every single month, all right? But let me not lose track of you here. Let's go to the next several months. Go ahead and take a look. November of 2024, 5.4% for the S&P 500. Bitcoin, 37.36%. January 2025, 2.33%. Nvidia or Bitcoin, 9.6%. May 2025, 5.09%. Bitcoin, 11.07%. Again, it does not happen every single month. All right? But what I'm saying is this. The conclusion we can make here is that generally when the market's doing well, Bitcoin is also doing well. But while the S&P 500 is doing well, Bitcoin's also doing well, but they're just doing it bigger. Now that does not just apply for months where both are in the green. Take a look at February 2025, 0.25% decline for the S&P 500, 17.6% decline for Bitcoin. So again, when it's in the green, it goes up in multiples at times. When it's in the red, it goes down in multiples at times. You can also see that on the previous page. I'm not going back to it. You can just rewind in the video if you want to check it out. But what I'm saying is this. Long term, guys, and I'll end the video on this last page. Okay? Sorry, I'm moving my camera up. Actually, we'll just keep it here. Okay. The total return over the last 18 months for the S&P 500 has been 24.6%. The total return for Bitcoin over the last 18 months, 122.5%. And for Nvidia, they're 115%. All right. So for basically the last 2 years, Bitcoin has severely outpaced the S&P 500 in returns. In the last 18 months, the average return for the S&P 500, 1.4%. For Bitcoin, 6.8%. Bitcoin's higher. These are my final conclusions. Green and red months for Bitcoin and Nvidia are usually comparable. Not always. Sometimes one thing goes up, the other thing goes down. All right? But they are usually comparable. Case in point, November of 2024, Trump wins the election against Joe Biden. He's slated to become the next president of the United States. The S&P 500 goes up maybe 4 or 5 percentage points. Bitcoin goes up about 34%. All right? So, again, both are in the green, but one is in multiples. All right? Same applies for the red, though. But when you look over the course of the last 2 years, look right here. You can see the returns. All right? You can see them right here in front of you. Okay? So, that's basically the video, guys. All right? Bitcoin is stable. Bitcoin is stable. If you continue to purchase it, if you continue to buy the Satoshis or work towards one Bitcoin, it will pay off in the long run. And a lot of estimates are saying over the course of the next 10 years, all right, I think it's very realistic for Bitcoin to hit that 1 million mark by 2030 or 34 or 2035. Absolutely attainable. All right. We could even be a little more conservative. What, 800K? 750 to 800K? That's huge. That's going to generate an average annual or a CAGR of between 25 to 33%. Now you go into an investment calculator and you go ahead and type in what a CAGR of 25 to 33% can do for you in the long run. I'll go ahead and make a video about it here soon and show you what you can get and how you can build your wealth through Bitcoin. I hope this video helped you guys. I've been stuck in the mud a little bit in terms of subscriber growth. Totally fine. I'm doing this for my own benefit and to track and maybe help one or two people along the way who decide to get into Bitcoin or who decide to watch these videos and go, holy shit, this is how compound interest in Bitcoin works. Please like, comment, subscribe. See you in the next video. I hope this helped out.